Good morning to you. Good morning to you. This will be a very special day.
Xbox is dead. Yes, the little console that couldn't. At least that's how the week started, with various gaming outlets, media and fanboys alike, all questioning Microsoft's desire to stay within the console market should the Activision Blizzard King deal not go through. And even with Phil Spencer himself reassuring Xbox's existence and independence on the deal, it wasn't enough to quench the thirst for the rumour to be true. Of course, beyond the rumour, speculations and attention-seeking nonsense, the real concern is just how such a question could be so easily asked. Here I'm joined with our expert, Kitten. Welcome.
Well, hello, it's delightful to be here. It really is delightful.
Now, how did we get to this point where we go from Microsoft investing billions in its Xbox division, willing to invest a further $69 billion, leading to widespread panic and fears over monopoly over the last year, to questioning if they even want to play their part within the console space?
Well, when you put it so deliciously simplistic like that, it really does sound quite ridiculous, doesn't it? But I believe the answers are various. I mean, just last week we had Microsoft President Brad Smith, a real sweetheart by the way, demonstrating just how poorly the Xbox division has been doing. And they do have a history of dropping products and services that just don't sell well.
Indeed, but the Xbox division has been going for 20 years now, with recent substantial investment.
But darling, these investments have yet to show their fruits. You know, they have yet to drop their fruits.
But surely this is the year that Xbox finally has games.
Oh darling, I would hope so after how barren and disgusting last year was. But what of the messaging?
You mean media bias?
No, silly, the marketing. They have no mind share. I mean, what is Xbox? And what message they do have is often confused by this handsome beast in Phil Spencer, who can't stop moving his sweet little lips, you know, yap yap yap.
Yes, he does seem to be the more prominent of the other CEOs in gaming.
Oh, he just loves the limelight. He just loves the limelight. And it's actually quite endearing, but it's also this double-edged sword because, you know, everybody's listening, you know. Everybody's listening. I mean, gaming for everyone, darling. I mean, come on. That message is so confused.
I'm confused.
You have to give reason to invest in your console.
Well, to be fair, he did recently do an interview where he made a rare attempt at reminding us he understands the importance of exclusivity in growing a platform.
And that was so refreshing. I mean, so refreshing. And it needs to be the message going forward because, you know, why am I investing in this console and subscription service when I know I'm missing out on other games on other platforms?
Of course, Xbox isn't just the console. They've made no secret of the fact that their primary platform is Game Pass.
That is the vision of Xbox, and I'm sure they will get Game Pass on all platforms. But this is highly dependent on Xbox content being there. And when your content's just here and there and never and where, it's just not feasible, darling. It's just not feasible. They're trying to go from A to B by throwing money at B without focusing on A.
I'm confused.
And sweetie, A is the console.
And B is...
B is everywhere, darling. It's everywhere. When growing the console could contribute so much more to growing the subs. I mean, I know I don't have to remind you that gold that's restricted to the console has more than double the active Game Pass subs. So the message needs to go from gaming for everyone, darling, to gaming for you. And customer faith relies so much on marketing that it produces its own message that you're actually in the business of consoles. And the lack of that is why we're getting these questions, these silly little questions, if Xbox is going to remain in the competing console market or not.
But some may argue that extending Game Pass reach on PC makes up for the reach of the console.
And PC support is fine, but it's not casual. It's not reaching the casual. And casual is where the majority is, my love.
Naturally, any talk of Xbox exclusivity does lead to the discussion of Starfield exclusivity. Let me play you this.
But there's no example in Bethesda of us pulling something away from the PlayStation community that they had.
Big discussion points that exist around Starfield now is the Xbox and PC exclusivity is finally confirmed. And I guess the question around that is, at what point did that become a consideration for you over the course of development within Bethesda itself, and how did it impact both the development and also as something that you would know, particularly like your plans for marketing, because you obviously go from speaking to a massive base of customers to kind of focusing it down a bit, right? When did that become a consideration, and how did you approach that?
Well, it wasn't a consideration until we got bought by Xbox.
Well, of course, Starfield would have come to PlayStation, and it would have no doubt had a year's worth of exclusivity to PlayStation. And that is where your immediate bias comes in, my dear. Because at no point does the concern for parity or monopoly come into the conversation when Sony is doing these marketing deals.
But then the argument is at least you're getting the game.
But the argument should be, what is my value? How am I valued being asked to wait a year or pay the same for less content, you know? Does getting exclusive support outright say I'm of more value? And then if one platform gets exclusive support, does that not entice the other platform in also getting exclusive support? And then having more options, is that not in the best interest of the gamer? Rather than one platform just getting less content of the same games. And this is why the APK deal is currently going through those governing bodies to look at what is in the best interest of the gamer. But it should be looking into all these things.
Speaking of which, Thursday saw news that the FTC judge had rejected Sony's objections in providing information about their third-party deals.
And that was so sweet of him, because let me tell you, as the price of games raise, expectations should also raise.
So let's go through the various points raised in the document. Sony's request to limit the custodians, people whose documents are produced, is denied even with the respect to Sony's in-house antitrust counsel. Also, Sony had argued that searching a Japanese executive's files would be unduly burdensome because those documents are in Japanese. And that didn't persuade the judge either.
Oh, that's so cute of Sony. It's not fair because it's more work. I've used that one before myself.
Judge Chappelle mentions that according to Sony, Microsoft would have been willing to drop one of those custodians from the list if the two parties had reached an agreement on scope of discovery through negotiations. But in the absence of such an agreement, Judge Chappelle decided that part against Sony. It's possible that not only in that respect, but also in others, Sony could have obtained a better result through an agreement with Microsoft.
Oh, a classic shot in the foot. I'm getting butterflies just thinking of the prospect of what we're going to learn through all this.
Sony's requests to quash document requests are largely denied. The somewhat meaningful win for Sony is that various of Microsoft documents requests are limited to the time period of January the 1st, 2019 to the present, as opposed to the last 10 years. However, that period should really be significant for Microsoft's lawyers to find material that strengthens their defenses, such as respect to the importance of Call of Duty.
Oh, and let me tell you, they will be so relieved at that. Just the Call of Duty lack of parity alone over the last decade would have had everyone feel silly.
Judge Chappelle also granted Sony's request to quash document request 13, which related to the performance reviewer Jim Ryan and those directly reporting to him.
And that is such a shame, because Phil Spencer could have really done with looking at that performance review. He's the saviour of Xbox, but also in many ways its detriment. His mouth does play a significant role in the media backlash. Oh, if I could just muzzle those perfect lips.
And I think we'll end it here. Thank you. In other gaming news, Xbox checks up on their Kojima game, reporting an exciting journey ahead. Dead Island 2 shows gameplay that actually looks like it could be fun.
Thanks to our revolutionary dismemberment technology called Flesh, crushing bones, slicing muscles, and melting zombies will always look bloody and feel spectacular.
Fable, announced in 2020, is apparently still miles away, and Beyond Good and Evil 2, announced in 2017, is apparently still kilometers away. It's now time for Raccoon and this week's Twittery Corner.
This week on Twittery Corner, we're going to go through some reactions on this tweet. I hear quality, I think Sony. Somehow quality and Xbox don't match. Put it on a diet. Bad press you Americans promote obesity worldwide. Okay. I like your recent interview. You seem finally determined not to give Sony more gifts. Xbox to exist has no choice but to fight back. You have understood that in the industry you have to be a lion. Well, it's about time you understood it. You stole Bethesda games from PlayStation and trying to do the exact same thing with Activision. You are actively removing third-party games from PlayStation. Well, Activision soon won't be third-party, so you needn't worry. Can't stand this goof. This guy was always going to be the downfall of Xbox. Can't stand this goof. This guy was always going to be the downfall of Xbox. Yeah, you said that already. Liar, snake salesman, filthy mouth Phil. Well, that nickname just rolls off the tongue. Same team interviewing their own team. Not impressed. I don't think he's impressed. It all sounds great, but you want to get Xbox players excited? Enforce a policy that ensures users can turn off crossplay with PCs, or eliminate cheating, which seems impossible on PC. It's why many of us came from PC to Xbox in 08 and 09. Currently, we'd have to move to PlayStation to get away. And Joe's got a point. Why are we being forced to pay to play against people that can cheat for free? Where's the value in that? Are you ever going to stop lying? Why is Starfield and Redfall not coming to PlayStation? You want more people to play, right? Skipping 100 million people seems the right move. Where's he getting 100 million from? This game was never coming to last gen. Phil, have you tried to create something yourself instead of buying ready-made? I don't think the world would have lost anything if Xbox didn't exist. Well, it would have lost Xbox. I want Xbox exclusives to be Xbox exclusives. No PC and cloud. Simple. My opinion. Hypocrite, destroying the games industry. Taking games from the global audience to hoard them all on MSFC online devices and use as your leverage to push the industry in the direction you want. You think we're fools, but we see right through you. We're all pushing the industry in the direction they want. That's why we don't really own our microtransaction or always online loot box filled games. Instead of doing some real work, you waste time to play Vampire Survivor and play part in these shitty interviews. What a big mouth, you need to shut up and leave. PlayStation and Nintendo, their leader never uses Twitter to run their company. What's GigaChad got against Vampire Survivor? Give me a break. You bait and switch talk is remarkable. How about the many other Activision IP, such as Diablo, Phil? 10 years isn't shit. What about the 11th year? The 21st year? This is long-term play, you double-talking crook. You're lost leading and outspending. Disgusting. You're for gamers at all. Lying corporate shill. Sony doesn't deserve Bethesda. Screw him. And that's where we'll leave it this week. This has been Twittery Corner.
Depending on when you are, where you are, and who you are, good morning, good evening, and good night.
This has to benefit players and creators, or it hasn't been successful for Xbox.
So on the topic of exclusivity, some people have pointed out that when you guys over at Microsoft acquired Bethesda ZeniMax, that Starfield was stated as a title that wasn't going to be exclusive to Xbox, but has since switched. So I'm wondering, or at least I know some people are going to be wondering, is that going to happen to Call of Duty, or what's to stop that from happening there?
I don't think I ever said Starfield was not going to be exclusive to Xbox.
You don't know you said that. People are going to go through and watch hours worth of
I know,
content.
and
I like the
almost certain-
confidence.
Yeah, because I think what I said is we're going to take it on a case-by-case basis. I said we're not going to pull games that are on other platforms, so we'll continue to support the communities of games. And you know, as Elder Scrolls Online has been doing their annual drops and their content drops, those have been on PlayStation, those have been on PC, those have been on Xbox. All the PC for some of those ships a little bit earlier, but the console versions ship at the same time. We've updated Fallout 76 on all the platforms at the same time. Exclusive titles in the console space is part of the business. All platform holders do it. They're kind of, more than kind of, they are marketing beats for the platform. And we see that. Our competitors have a lot of exclusive games. So when we're launching new games, there are certain games that we're gonna make. Exclusive for us is always a little bit hard because we ship everything on PC as well, but let's just say ship on Xbox and PC and available on cloud. And some of those won't be available on other competitive platforms. But there's no example in Bethesda of us pulling something away from the PlayStation community that they had. Or games that people are playing, not us not continuing to update those. I'd say the same thing with Minecraft Dungeons and with Minecraft, and we'll do the same thing with Legends when it comes out. If I look forward, I think people playing more games across more devices is just where gaming
It's
is
the
going.
right thing, huh? That's what we want, right?
And the biggest games, if you look at like a Roblox, you look at Genshin Impact, you look at things like Fortnite, Minecraft, these are games that are playable across all of these screens. I love us building a console, and I love playing in my family room, sitting my butt on the couch and watching the big screen with controller in my hand and playing. So I want that experience forever, right? That's something I want. So this isn't about a lack of importance in the gaming business of hardware. I think hardware is very important, but it doesn't mean that every piece of hardware needs to be completely closed, or things need to be obviously taken away from other players, because that's not what we're doing.
Love it.